What an honor it is to be here on this special day, and it's been a great week for me. Wednesday morning was fabulous. Scott Walker called me, and to hear the joy in his voice and the relief has made my whole month of the whole year. So I think what we want to look at. What was special about that election, too, is we saw a coalescing of previous animosity forces coming together. People didn't realize, but 30% of the private union members voted for Scott Walker. So this is not an issue about anti-unionism, but just the basic abuses that have taken place in some of the government-run unions. I found a quote that I thought was pretty powerful from Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He said, "All government employees should realize that the process of collective bargaining, as usually understood, cannot be transplanted into the public service." He then went on to say that, "I want to emphasize my conviction that militant tactics have no place in the function of any organizations of government employees. A strike of public employees manifests nothing less than intent on their part to prevent or obstruct the operations of government until their demands are satisfied. Such action, looking toward the paralysis of government by those who have sworn to support it, is unthinkable and intolerable." So here we have a very famous Democrat coming together with Scott Walker, Republican, to coalesce around a certain basic set of values that I think we should all embrace and be excited about. Now, another aspect of the great success was the coalition of so many people that worked together to make this happen. You had the Republican Governors Association, Americans for Prosperity, 60 Plus, American Patriots, Patriot Express, Tea Party Patriots, and everybody worked together to come to tell what the truth is. The campaign was long enough, the truth was out. And as long as we have truth on our side and can expound truth, then we're in good shape. The problem is we allow too many lies to fester. I remember during the debates, President Obama, the then candidate, said, "The problem with our economy collapsing because the Republicans don't believe in regulation. It's a free-for-all." When in reality, you can see on tape John McCain and George Bush saying, "We must be more aggressive in regulating Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae." But yet a complete lie, the opposite of what the Republicans said, was allowed to lay there and fester. And so part of the success that all of us have to embrace is how do we get truth out through social media in all the different ways. But to talk about how this partnership worked reminds me of one of my favorite stories. This young fellow runs his car in the ditch and buries it up the hubcaps in mud. So he gets a farmer to come over and hooks a big horse on front. Pull, Jim, nothing happens. Pull, Todd, nothing happens. Pull, Bill, nothing happens. Pull, Homer. Pulls him out, slick as can be. The young kid said, "That's pretty impressive. But why do you have to call your horse 4 names before he'll do anything?" "Well, you see, son, Homer's blind. If he thought he's the only one pulling, he wouldn't give a dang." So that's why it's so important that we all pull together as a team. And that's what's exciting about seeing you here today. It only takes an irate, tireless minority to just keep persisting to change the world. And you're irate, and you're tireless, but you're not a minority just yet. There's 2,000 people here, but there's people behind you that you can lead and bring to our cause. Because there's many people who are very disenchanted with the Obama agenda and what's happened. And we have to reach out to them as fellow Americans. The Democrats didn't get us into the hole all by themselves. Republicans played a large part. If you take 8 zeros off the government number, you get a household earning $21,000, spending $38,000, and has a $142,000 credit card tab. And then the government says we have to reduce the budget $385. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. The Scott Walker is just the beginning. That victory is the beginning of what we must achieve together to restore our country, to restore it to our future, if you will. And let's make that happen with aggressively getting behind our new candidate. And I think that's an important thing. I was with Governor Romney the other day at a dinner, and he's a decent, honest guy. I really believe in him. And I was told a story where he went to International Olympics Committee and landed in Frankfurt or someplace. rented a car and drove it himself to the meeting. Now think of the entourage that went with President Obama to promote the case for the Olympics. This is a contrast of two different attitudes. Hey, I've got these perks, let's take advantage of them. Number one, I'm responsible for the money of the people that are supporting this cause, and let's be prudent. So as we look to the future, there's a bright future ahead of us, but I must say this emphasis on jobs and the economy is very important. But we have another issue to deal with, and that's spiritual poverty in our nation. Over the years, I've seen a transition of what's happened to our culture, and it has definitely been debased. We see it in so many out-of-wedlock births, 40%, 50%, 60%. And so the challenge is, how do we restore these values that have undergirded our country? Franklin Delano Roosevelt, in 1933, in fact, I brought it along. This is in Bill Federer's book. Listen to what he said in 1933. We cannot read the history of our rise and development as a nation without reckoning with the place the Bible has occupied in shaping the advances of the Republic. Its teaching, as has been widely suggested, is plowed into the very heart of the race. Where we have been truest and most consistent in obeying its precepts, we have attained the greatest measure of contentment and prosperity. A few years later, Harry Truman said, in this great nation of ours has been proved the fundamental unity between Christianity and democracy. December 24th, 1946. John F. Kennedy expressed it this way: ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. This is basically the Christian message that has gone through centuries. And the fact that God did not design us to pursue our own agenda and our own happiness. He created us to be a channel of His love to others, His hands and feet in a hurting world, to be a blessing to every person He puts in our path. If we as conservatives embrace that, there's no way that people can resist the attraction that motivation will present. I would encourage you never to talk about a faceless government bureaucrat again. These people are our fellow Americans. They work hard in the air control centers, in food inspections. They perform a very important service for all of us. Now, is the government bloated? Are there too many? But through attrition, we can change that. But we can't hold them at fault for what the politicians over the years have done. The ruling political elite has bought votes by creating all these agencies, by creating these jobs. And so we have to honor them. We have to honor them as much as we honor our teachers and our military. So as we look at some of these key principles, what are they? Hate sin, but love the sinner. How often do you see a little 5-year-old kid punch his 3-year-old sister? You're a bad boy. You keep that up, you're going to go to reform school. You're bad. Instead of, Johnny, you're the one of the greatest little guys. I love you so much, but what you did was wrong. And as a responsible father, I have to punish you. Think of the impact over decades of hearing that message. The kid gets 16, 17, 18. His whole self-esteem has been destroyed by that common message. So hate sin, but love the sinner. One of my favorite verses, Galatians 5:22. The fruits of the Spirit are peace, patience, kindness, joy, self-control. Against these there is no law. Now, what do we mean by self-control? It means I no longer can say to my wife, Lynn, you made me angry. If she made me angry, then she's in control of my emotions. So God gives us all the spirit of the fruit of the Spirit to decide what's going to anger us, what's going to offend us. I was speaking to 150 Tea Party leaders in Texas, and I said, there's nothing anybody in this room can say that could offend me, because I'll decide not to be offended. And someone back there said, you're a liberal. I said, now that offends me. So as we look at some of the other great concepts that are embedded in that great book. In fact, today, 1845, Andrew Jackson died, and he said, this book, on it rest, this book is the rock on which our republic rests. So it goes even before Truman and FDR. And one of the concepts is always consider other people more important than yourself. Or think of this one: whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is right, whatever is noble, whatever is deserving of praise, dwell on these things. Too often I think, find ourselves whining and complaining and said, what are the good things we can find about people? I was very blessed to be in the business world, where the success was determined how I could build people up. And when they made a mistake, to encourage them, to get them off their backs and begin function again. And so to be in a profession where your whole life is to how do you encourage. And I told my team, these are not the 4 people let's report to you. These are the 4 people for whose success you're responsible. And unfortunate it is, in so much of the media, people get paid vast amounts of money to denigrate people, to diminish people, to bring people down. I feel for them, and we should feel for them. It's a terrible position to be in, to know that you got to make your living in such a negative way. So I just want to encourage you this fall and the Christmas season. One of the things that is a big movement in our country is try to eradicate these ideas I just expressed, to eradicate Christianity from our culture. And so this winter, never say Happy Holidays. Say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You all know the story of the Good Samaritan. He, as a Samaritan, and the Jew were not pals. They didn't like each other. But the Good Samaritan sees the injured Jew on the side of the road, takes him to the inn, pays the innkeeper some money, says, when I get back, if it's not enough, I'll give you some more money. Now today, we're transitioning to a different culture and a different society, where the Good Samaritan sees the Jew. He says, oh, it's terrible that you're injured, my friend. I'll meet you at the inn. 2 hours behind me is a government worker, and he'll take you there. We do not want that. We want to maintain that culture where we are our brother's keeper. The whole idea is health care a right. We don't have to even go there because health care is a responsibility. In the United States of America, if an illegal alien gets hit by a bus out there, he gets to the hospital and he gets care. When I went to Haiti after the earthquake, there were doctors from all over America on their own nickel came to help people. America is great because it's good, said de Tocqueville. And de Tocqueville said, when we stop being good, we'll stop being great. We have an unbelievable opportunity unfolding before us as we look at some of the people who have been elected to office. And the people are now taking leadership. Bob McDonnell, Christie, just you can name them all, Susana Martinez, Nikki Haley, and the emergence of new conservative leaders just from out of nowhere almost. Rick Santorum was going to be speaking for a minute, and all the other leaders who have come to the fore that are going to lead us to a new prosperity where we can reverse the attack on the coal industry, we can unleash our energy, we can get rid of a lot of the dumb bureaucratic regulations we have in place. And America's future is so bright and is so exciting to be involved in the battle right now. And when you talk about the battle, listen carefully to what Arthur Brooks has to say, because he's captured the essence of, he'll talk about earned success, and talk about there's more than just money involved when you feed your family. There's the joy of having said, hey, I contributed to my family, I contributed to our country. I look on this crowd, 2,000 of you, it's pretty impressive. There's no way we're not going to have a brighter America because of what each of you can do and the leadership that you have and the influence you have with others in your life. So God bless Chicago CPAC, God bless the United States of America, and God bless you, and thank you very much.